So far this year, I have felt more motivated and more creative with my daily journal entries than ever before. And during this flip of my February pages, I'll share with you why. Hello, sweet friend. My name is Maike, and this is my daily journal, my beloved Hobonichi Hon in A6. And she is getting fluffy, and some of her pages are crinkly. And overall, I am having a wonderful time with this journal. And I think the main reason why I feel so motivated in keeping up with this journal is because I have made it my mission to try and record as many different details of my life as I possibly can, and just finding, a lot of inspiration in that. I've completely let go of this notion that daily journaling is where you create a rundown list of what you did that day. And I hope as we go through these pages, I can share some inspiration with you of different things to include in your journal. So on this opening page for February, the sort of chapter opener, I have tried to define love, what I think love is. And of course, I had to decorate it with cute hearts and cute cats. And this certainly isn't an extensive list, but it was fun to challenge myself to try and come close to what I define as a loving relationship. Every month on the 1st, I release a printable collection for Cat Collage Club, and so I included a picture showing parts of the collection here, and then something that I've been trying to do more of is to include words from other people, dialogues that I have with other people, or conversations. Here, for example, I included this comment by the lovely Leslie on YouTube. She said, "I'm going to mentally refer to this month's printable collection as the Smitten Kitten collection." And I thought that was so wonderful and sweet. And it just makes looking back on this month's collection so much richer to have somebody else's reaction to the designs included here. So yeah, really, really fun. Here I printed out a picture that I'd drawn. My husband has created a new assignment for some of his students and asked me to give it a try and share with him some thoughts on the assignment. So that is what this is here. On the 3rd, I had bought myself a selection of cheeses, and that made me so happy. And I realized that it feels quite luxurious to just have a couple of different cheeses to select from. And that made me think, what other small delights make me feel luxurious, that bring this sort of mundane luxury into my life? And so I wrote down a thoughtfully wrapped gift makes me feel luxurious. Fresh flowers feel luxurious, or fancy drinks feel luxurious. And that doesn't necessarily mean cocktail or alcohol. I also think that a smoothie feels quite luxurious. There's just something about having to prepare the drink, I guess, that makes it feel luxurious. And so yeah, it's just really fun to have me buying cheese turn into this prompt here, and a reflection on how to bring a little luxury into my life. So quite fun. I tried something new here with the background and some colored pencils. Not quite sure how successful I think that is visually, but nonetheless, really, really enjoyed making this page. Here I drew myself wearing my go-to comfort outfit. for winter 2024. And I realized that I often only record my clothing items if I have bought something new or it's a special occasion and I wear a fancy dress or wear a fancy suit or whatever. But what I wear most of the time is something like this, which isn't fancy and for some might not seem noteworthy, but I just associate this time of year with this outfit, and so I think it's worth documenting. And I made little annotations of what everything is and where they come from. So, for example, this sweater my mom sewed for me and gave to me on our last visit to Germany. So I think this is going to be wonderful to look back on and have that moment of like, oh yeah, I used to wear that all the time. Just some introspective journaling here on this page. Really love the color combination here. And here I got lucky that this sticker here from Dodo Lulu really went well with what I was writing about. Here on this page, I wrote out my husband and my current evening routine. This is similar actually to the go-to comfort outfit in that routines are often underrepresented in my journal because I guess they are seeming so invisible and so day-to-day. They're not this one special event, but they are a marker of this time. And I do think that because routines also change, it's a fun thing to record in your journal. And so here I decorated it with this sticker from Cat Collage Club with these two cats taking an evening stroll, because often my husband and I go on a walk in the evening. So yeah, really, really sweet there. Here's just a page about having slept in way too long and just, yeah, feeling a little sleepy these days, and made a list of things that I could try and maybe help not feel so sleepy all the time. Oh yeah, this is a wonderful page. This is actually inspired by the little quote that Hobonichi has on the bottom of their pages, and this one reads, "What is a good photo? One that conveys emotion. All you need to do is to take a picture when you feel emotion yourself." And immediately when I read this quote, I was reminded of this photo here that I've taken years and years ago. And so I wrote out what this photo means to me and why it came up as a response to this quote. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this, and I like how this turned out visually as well. And I just think that in 10, 20, 30 years, when I flip through this journal, I won't mind that this memory is way older than 2024. I think I'm just gonna be happy to be reminded of any memory, period, whether that happened on February 8th of 2024 or not, totally doesn't matter. And so, yeah, I am definitely going to see if there are more opportunities to, I guess, fold in older memories that have never been journaled about before. Here again, some more introspective journaling. Yeah, a lot of writing on these days. I do want to point out how on this day I actually kind of pulled out a little observation or lesson for myself, something that I took note of while I read back through what I journaled about, and that was some things consume more energy when left unfinished than it takes energy to finish them. That is definitely something I need to remember. February 12th, my husband and I took a walk to the grocery store and were overwhelmed by this amount of flowers and Valentine's Day heart balloons they had. I mean, it was impressive. And I can say that a couple days after Valentine's Day, that was all gone. I don't know if they took that down or if they actually sold that many balloons and flowers. But yeah, just quick doodle to capture that. I love including these observations I have on our daily walks. Switches it up. Some more introspective journaling on the next day here. Oh, but here I can say that I made a little reel. I've noticed that there's this go-to way that I have to make little collage clusters like this, and that is to have a washi tape, a character sticker combined with a flower sticker. That tends to turn out really, really cute. So if you are looking for some ways to decorate your journal pages, I can recommend that. Quite fun how this turned out, which is almost like a frame for that little bit of writing here. I had a phone call with my sister that was quite nice. And then here I made little sketches of some project ideas that I've been having for a couple weeks now. So these images of tote bags and zipper bags with some of my Cat Collage Club designs have been swirling around in my head for weeks now, and I'm so glad they're finally on paper and documented. Hopefully that also means I'll act on them. Oh, and then here you can see another example of that same collage recipe. So again, some washi tape in the background, a character sticker, and then combined with a flower sticker. I've often included quotes before in my journals. Something that I'm trying to do more of this year is to have myself respond to the quote and have myself react to the quote in order to just understand myself a little better and what attracted me to that quote, or anything else that comes up while reflecting on the quote. I think this also helps to make pages that include quotes more personal, because you have included your personal thoughts on the matter. Yeah. This was the day when I finished reading The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, a book that I really enjoyed. And so I wrote out some of my favorite quotes of hers from the book. On this Sunday, my husband and I tidied up the home and cleaned and all those good things. And I took that as a trigger to take a photo of our tidied up living room. I feel like I haven't included enough photos of our homes over the past years, and so I want to change that. And so this was the perfect opportunity. And yeah, this is going to be so wonderful to look back on. This is another page that was inspired by Gretchen Rubin. In her book, she shares what she calls her secrets of adulthood. It's just these little things that you realize when you're an adult, these sort of guidelines or rules or things that just somehow ring true once you've hit adulthood. And so I wrote out my own list of secrets. So for example, there is, you might just need to eat, or knowing what no looks like is valuable information, as well as simple and good is better than elaborate and miserable. So yeah, feel free to write out your own secrets of adulthood. Maybe if you feel comfortable enough, share some of your own in the comments section. I would love to read those. Here on the 20th, I got some happy mail from Pinky Elephant, which is a stationery store in California. It was the first time ordering from them. They had a couple things that I had not seen anywhere else and some new to me brands, so that was quite exciting. So I took a couple of the elements and put them on the page here. And similar to the quote, I added a few lines for context about what this happy mail meant to me. And then here we have me learning a couple things about audio recording. I'm someone who, though, likes to be creative with technology. I don't necessarily enjoy learning about the intricacies of it. And so I thought maybe I can make this fun if I include it in my journaling routine and let myself doodle a cute picture like this with the girl and her cat friend who's recording an interview with her, I guess. And also headcanon, I imagine that this cat's recording production is called Toe Bean Productions. So yeah, just a cute way of making learning fun for myself, I guess. And then here we have another example of me trying to include conversations that I have with the people in my life. I had a wonderful phone call with my parents, and as some of you may know, Delta lost some luggage of mine in December, and it's been a back and forth with them to get compensated for the mistakes they made with my luggage. And my dad observed when I shared with him that it's been such a struggle to even get in touch with anyone, that if Delta can lose suitcases, they can lose emails. And I thought that was very funny and very on point, so I included that here. This page is about a YouTube video that I released on that day, and though I think social media is also a way of journaling, like I can scroll back through my Instagram feed and be reminded of certain things I've worked on and different time periods of my life, I do think there's something very lovely and tactile about having these things also represented in the journal. It'll also mean it's just a fluid way of revisiting this time of my life. If I'm already flipping through this journal, then it's nice to have this included here and not on a different platform. And who even knows what's going to be accessible, in 10, 20, 30, 50 years. And so it's just more cohesive and more complete to have some of this represented also in my journal, especially because I like having a record of how certain ideas and thoughts progress over time and how they sit in the context of other things that happen in my life. So yeah, that's why this is here. And if you're interested, this video is called Beyond Dear Diary, Creative Journaling Ideas for Every Day. And it speaks more to this idea that I shared in the beginning, that daily journaling can be so much more than just writing out the plot of your day. And I'll have that video linked for you in the description. This here is, I guess, similar to me drawing out those tote bags here somewhere, wherever they are. They're hiding there. And that is to try and include things that are invisible. There's often these things that exist in my head and actually take up a lot of brain space that I never write out. They just exist as visuals, I guess. And so I've been wondering about whether or not to come up with specific layouts of page layouts that I can revisit in my journaling. And then I realized that I don't know whether that's fun or just downright tedious if I had those locked in guidelines. So anyway, but that's that. And then here you can see again how I'm playing around with different ways of bringing color to the page. Not necessarily successfully, I'd say. This looks a little bit messy. I don't know. There's a lot of wonderful journalers who can do these like scribbles in the background, and they always look so fun. I don't know how to make that look fun, I guess. I just know how to make that look messy, but okay. This is again a page where I let myself respond to a quote that I had seen in a newsletter that I got that day. This page is dedicated to the fact that it was the 7-year anniversary of my husband and my first date, so that was quite wonderful. And we had 20 degrees Celsius, which is very springy, very warm for a February 26th. So I noted here that when we took our walk, I only wore a light sweater and no jacket, which was the first time that year that was possible. On the 27th, I had to go to the Apple store. My Apple Pencil stopped working, and of course they don't repair Apple Pencils. They pretty much have you buy a new one. But while we waited to get that new Apple Pencil, I had a conversation with the Apple salesperson, with the rep, and so I wrote that out. He had asked me what I was working on with my Apple Pencil, and so I shared a little bit about Cat Collage Club and how I create cat-themed stationery products. And so he shared with me that he used to love buying stationery on his way home from school, and whenever he would come home, his mom would always ask him why he bought yet another pen. And then, of course, he also had to ask me how many cats I have, and when I answered none, he almost didn't believe me. But again, it's just a fun way to include interactions with other people. Here I swatched some new inks that I got, and I love the color palette. Some of these inks have unfortunately been very dry, so I ordered myself some White Lightning, which is an additive I can add to these inks to make them write a little better. So I'm excited to try that out. Yes, just some more introspective journaling there. And then we are already in March. I hope you enjoyed this flip through and that I was able to give you some inspiration as to different things to include in your journal pages. I am having a lot of fun, like I said, and so I would be so delighted if I can share this fun and this inspiration with you. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Until next time, happy journaling!